Walking Stick Library presents Capturing Predatory Journals with your librarian hostess with the mostest, Eileen Kramer.
We will get to the corduroy. Don't worry, we will get to the corduroy. Um, what we have tonight is something that popped up on Telegram. I've been hanging out in all the right places. Actually, I haven't. Today was Shabbos. I only went in those places very briefly. I miss them. And when you hang out with stuff you disagree with, the world gets kind of strange. People say it's good for you, but it doesn't really feel all that good. So let me minimize and I'll show you what we got. And no, this is not working. I don't know what happened to it, but it's not working. This showed up tonight. And this is from Lieutenant Colonel Stephen Murray. I don't know if he is really a lieutenant colonel or not. He's very, very macho. He'll show you all kinds of survival stuff. He's got stuff with, about keeping water and putting weapons together, and he'll do a whole bunch of that. But here he begins. Gavin Newsom declared a state of emergency in California over the bird flu. Peter Hoetze said that there were pandemics prepared to be released in coincidence with Trump's inauguration. Nobody can see that forward. I've been following the H5N1 flu, and it's been around a while. We have had no one held accountable for gain-of-function research that was likely to have caused the COVID-19, and still no one held accountable for the dangerous COVID vaccines, which weren't dangerous. Sorry. And COVID-19 was originated in a wet market, but we'll get to that some other night. And now we are seeing gain-of-function research on H5N1 in labs in Georgia and the Netherlands with questionable safety practices. Prove it. And I've seen reports that the next disease could be more fatal and disproportionately affect children. The next disease is either another wave of COVID or H5N1, and it does terrible things to cats. I am sitting here petting Emmanuel and swearing I will protect him with my life. And it says, see the reviewed study below. And this is where the fun starts. Let me give it a good click. We're going into ResearchGate, and I recognize some of the authors. And I'm looking at this and thinking, but that's not how we do this. Somebody hands you an article. They say it's a research article. You might have even found it in a library database. Do you think that gives you a free pass? Well, when I get something on Telegram, it's not so free. And if I'm a good human and if I'm a really skeptical person and I find something in Medline or PubMed, that also shouldn't be a free pass, although a lot of times it is. And we tell students that there is some gatekeeping going on. It's not 100%. And if I were teaching certain classes, I would warn students to stay out of certain databases. But this looks innocent, especially if you don't know who the author is. I know who Peter McCullough is. Now I'm looking at this and saying, well, of course, here it is. It looks like it's in a refereed journal. It's published November 2024. It's in Poultry, Fisheries, and Wildlife Sciences. I'm going to run my mouse across it and hit Control-C. I'm also going to click the DOI, and the DOI was not found. I don't know why, but that doesn't really matter. I do have the name of the journal. And we're going to look for that journal. Control-C is copy. We're going to get Google up. And I'm going to hit this, and look, here we are. Now we can find the article. All I have to do is instructions for authors, submit manuscript, articles in process. I started with this article in process. I hit Control F, typed in proximal, and here we are, proximal origin of epidemic of highly pathogenic avian influenza. This is the real beastie right here. Now, what we want to look at is up here. This is the publisher, Longdom. I don't know who they are, but I noticed something interesting about this. Published date is the 4th of November, 2024. Received October 3rd. That is a 4-week turnaround. I've actually been published, and the turnaround time is usually about 6 months, and maybe even less time. This guy got in, got out. And a lot of these are going to be, a lot of these I see here, 1 to 2 month turnarounds. Those are very fast turnarounds. And that means the reviewing process was very fast, and maybe too fast. Now this, we can take care of all my little hunches, because there's something called Beale's List of Predatory Journals. And we're going to go to Google. And I'm going to get you put the URL for this in chat. Thank you. You can tell I rehearsed. This is the URL. I'm going to stick this in our squawker. Squishy squawk. We are going to do, we're going to chase down a predator. This is where you go when you suspect a journal may be a bottom feeder or predatory. These are the lists you don't want to end up on. But the journal won't be on the list. By the way, if there's something you want to do, Enigma, can you put it in chat or speak it out? You can't speak it out, you have to put it in chat. Okay. Here we are, Beale's List of potential predatory journals and publishers. Now, we look on the original list for Longdom, and it won't be there. They've done an update on this list, so again, not a problem. IJKL. This is a lookalike because LexisNexis is a database, Nexus Uni. And here we have Lorem and then Mactagon. I don't see any Longdom. But if I look down here, second group, in the second group, looky who we get. Oh, I have to get to the second group, don't I? Okay, second group. Let's look for, because they're here. Hate to spoil everybody's night tonight, but this is Longdom Publishing. Right here on the Predatory Journals list. These are journals which they will pay you to publish. You will pay to get published in, and you'll get, it's almost like you're guaranteed to be published, but they're garbage journals. And if you look in here, if we get back to our friends at Poultry Whoozy Whatsis, they will give you instructions for authors. And here's how it works. Poultry Fisheries and Wildlife Sciences provides rapid half-yearly publication of articles in all areas related to fisheries research, natural resource management, nutrition and animal welfare, poultry management processing, poultry physiology, diseases, poultry farming, poultry genetics, wildlife conservation, wildlife ecology, and wildlife demography. That's quite a mix, because there are journals that do just one of those things. PFW welcomes submissions and manuscripts that meet the general criteria of significance and scientific excellence. Papers will be published approximately 1 month after acceptance. That thing turned around in 24 hours. A manuscript number will be emailed to the author within 72 hours. Okay. Article processing charges. $2,500 to get your article printed. You see that right there. Pay to play. Now, a reputable journal isn't going to charge you much of anything. And here we have Journal of Poultry, Fisheries, and Wildlife Sciences is participating in the fast editorial execution and review process with an additional prepayment of $99 apart from the regular article processing fee. Editorial execution and review process is a special service for the article that enables it to get a faster response in the pre-review stage from the handling editor as well as a review from the reviewer. They only have one. An author can get a faster response of the pre-review in maximum 3 days since submission and review process by the reviewer, maximum in 5 days, followed by a revision in 2 days. If the article gets notified for revision by the handling editor, then it will take another 5 days. I'm gonna laugh. This smells so bad we need to air out the room. Yeah. And again, you're going to hopefully going to be kept away from some of this stuff. This is not, let's see who indexes them. Okay, academic keys I've never heard of. RelSeek. EBSCO A to Z. WorldCat, which doesn't surprise me. Google Scholar. But Medline does not pick these people up, and Agricola does not pick them up. And Biology Abstracts does not pick them up. So what's pretty much, let's see if anybody else down here looks familiar. Nope. So they're not being picked up by major indexes. So your chance of running into something like this, if you're actually using a library database, is low. I didn't know 30% of the population was electromagnetically sensitive. I'm one of the 70% who isn't, thank God. But let's have a look. Let's open this up in another tab, and here we have it. This looks wonderful. Oh my God, a journal article, right? It's open access. Journal of Environment and Health Sciences. Now, you got to give this a close read. This is Michael Bevington of the Stowe School, Stowe, Buckinghamshire. Is that a university or a college? All right, he's not using his work address either, you notice. Gmail. Let me get my pen here. And we're going to circle this. This is 1. Get my cursor back and scroll down. Well, that's not too brilliant. We'll scroll down a bit. I'll get my cursor back. And this set off a huge red flag. That's not what I want. I want my thin one. I don't want that one either. This is taking me a little while to learn to use. That actually looks good, but I think I'm going to want the regular pencil. This is better. All right. I've been published. And they received it on the 4th, they accepted it on the 11th, and they published it on the 18th. Peer review takes months. You you send the article in September and the article gets published in March. And you're doing revisions and everything else. This made me very, very, very suspicious. So, what I did was I went up here to look at the publisher. OMMEGA publisher. I've never heard of them, but there's a lot of things I've never heard of. One thing I have heard of is something called a predatory journal. Now, I thought there was about a 50-50 shot, except that the article got accepted way too fast. And if you've been around academic libraries, this is something you learn. If not, it's a good thing to look at. And again, we're going to look at where the Stowe School is as well. We're going to really take this thing on, because I do want to figure that out. And we're going to look at this. And we're going to go over to something called Beale's List of Predatory Journals. Let me get Google out, and we're going to type in Beale's List Predatory Journals. And this is Beale's List of Predatory Journals and Publishers. And all we have to do is let it come up and look for our friend right here. OMMEGA Publishers. OMMEGA Publishers. I'm going to copy the link. There they are. And right here so you can all see them. And over here. So you can see them. Right here. And right here. Well, we know what they are. Let's have a look at their website. Oops, they're not in business anymore. Let me copy this, and we're gonna go try the Wayback Machine and chase them down. This is the Wayback Machine, also called the Internet Archive. And we're going to be looking for these guys. And they were busy in 2024, super busy. Let's just grab one of these and we'll see what happens. Not good. Try a little further back. And again, they're getting a 301. Looks like their domain went caca a while ago. Let's go to the year this was published, or even the year after. These blues look a lot. Maybe a blue one will work better. And we can visit them this way. Oh well, that's not in English. I hadn't planned for that. We can try over here. and see if we do better. And for those of you who want to know what a predatory journal is, let's get a predatory journal definition. And we'll look carefully because we're doing Google again, and you know how that is. Okay, I don't do the AI because I don't trust it. Wikipedia is one option. It does get vetted. LibAnswers is a good one. And this is MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston, Texas. Predatory journals take advantage of the open access publishing model by charging publication fees without providing standard peer review or editing services. Because predatory publishers do not follow best practices for academic publishing, they solicit and easily accept manuscripts. All of you remember when this one, back here, right here, that this one got accepted in 2 weeks? Yeah. And a study in contrast, high-quality academic journals take time reviewing and publishing articles because manuscripts are rigorously reviewed and edited in pre-publication for publication. A study in 2021 found that well-regarded and widely used academic databases index 324 questionable or predatory journals, 2015 to 2017. Since that time, the database has stopped indexing new papers for 65% of those journals that the study found to be questionable or predatory. This is just one example that demonstrates the prevalence of predatory publishers among academic resources. Predatory publishers persist in their efforts to dupe databases and authors, which makes it necessary for institutions and scholars to consider journals carefully. At MD Anderson, the Research Medical Library makes several resources available, and journal assessment, is it predatory? And here we have tips and tricks for identifying predatory journals. Okay, I can't go in here. Well, I could go in here. New ID that I'm a little leery about. That's okay. We don't have to sign in. And this is the Think, Check, Submit list, which I saw earlier, which isn't that exciting. And here we have, how can I determine if a journal is predatory? And you have the answers. If you can answer yes to any of the following questions, the journal can be found questionable, if not predatory. Do you or your colleagues know the journal? Do you recognize the editorial board? Can you easily access the journal's website and locate contact information for the publisher? Can you contact the publisher? Is the journal's website free of spelling and grammatical errors? Is the journal clear about its processing charges and peer review policies? And then we have here, is it reputable? And we want to see if it's in Medline, Directory of Open Access Journals. Is the journal listed in Cabell's predatory reports? And again, we can't get in. And they say ask a librarian. So this is pretty good. And we obviously unmasked an article in a predatory journal.